Welcome to All New Look Back in Amble, the official podcast for us Newport County fans. From exclusive interviews to interesting inside insights, since 2010 we've been the best place to be for all things audio. Coming up in the next 45 minutes, I'm Lamsie and I'm asking all the big questions.
I'm Stephen. 1 year on, I want to take us 1 year back to where we were pre-Coughlan and how we changed during last season.
I'm Luke, 1 year on, and I want to look where we are this season under Graham Coughlan.
Never miss 8. Follow us wherever you find this podcast. Listen live at 2 p.m. on a Sunday and 7 p.m. on a Wednesday after all League 2 home matches.
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now.
Newport City Radio.
It's a good start, isn't it, kids?
Very good start. Yeah. It's only live once.
Pull it together. It began at 6:15 in the marquee with the NCL warm-up team. The kids from Monmouth Town. They didn't get to do much, bless them.
No, they didn't. It was a very
strange day.
It was. There wasn't. Even the NCR warm-up team took a bit of a hit yesterday. It's not just the players on the pitch; it's what happens off the pitch as well. But
still a good thing though, because basically you picked all the songs that we played, so that was brilliant. And Newport Live were in there with their Momentum campaign. So there's a little bike in there. We tried to get EJ to go on the bike, didn't we?
We did. We should have got Stephen to go on that bike.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Yeah. Stephen came in and ran straight past when he saw the bike. That's what happened.
I made a sharp exit.
And they continued at 7:45 p.m. in the compete with the returning Chris. Nice to see him back.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah,
still injured.
What a trooper.
Still with us and still going for it for at least that game anyway.
Yeah, he's off for surgery now on Friday. So get Austin and Chris all the best.
Yep. So just in case you didn't catch the last episode, Chris had a little fall before he got to the previous game, and he just needs a little operation there to make sure the ball's going to grow back properly. So he is well, he is good, and we'll let you know how it goes for the next couple of weeks. Right. Stephen, Walsall, recent form.
Yeah, well, Walsall, they won their previous match 4-1 at Gillingham, which ended a run of 2 without a win, where they drew 1, lost 1. Prior to that, Walsall had 1 win in 5 matches, 1-1, drawn 1, lost 3. In their last 5 away matches, Walsall had 1-2, drawn 1, lost 2. On their last 4 visits to Rodney Parade, Walsall had 1-1, drawn 2, lost 1. And in the last 8 meetings between the teams, Walsall had 1-1, drawn 5, lost 2.
Okay, Luke, how did Newport County line up on Friday evening?
On Friday evening, Newport County lined up with Johnny Maxed in goal, a back four of Shane McLaughlin, Ryan Delaney, Declan Drysdale and Lewis Payne, Scott Bennett and Matthew Baker in midfield with Aaron Wildig, Bryn Morris and Will Evans with Omar Bogle up front. Okay, let's see what happened Friday evening at Rodney Parade.
Hello there. Defeat at Swindon last time out nudged Newport County nearer to the foot of the League 2 table, with top scorer Will Evans withdrawn at half-time after taking a whack to his calf. But he is fit to start the Friday night clash with Walsall, who've only won once here since 1987. Chris Chappell back with you on commentary, alongside a man who can remember 1987 like it was yesterday. Good evening, Stephen Howard.
Yeah, absolutely. They were the glory days, weren't they? Great to be back here. How nice it is to have you back in the commentary box. After the last time the both of us were here, we both suffered a bit of peril. You more than me, I might add. But yeah, Friday night football under the lights, celebrate the gaffer's anniversary with a win. Don't get much better than this, does it?
And it could get better with Morris. Oh, what a great goal! Smashed in from the edge of the area. Bryn Morris, the man who arrived from Grimsby in the summer. Inside 4 minutes, smashes Newport County into the lead. Second goal of the season. And what an incredible hit it was. The goalkeeper was covering that near post, but there was so much power and venom on the shot. It beat him. All ends up, and it's Newport County 1, Walsall 0.
Yeah, Bryn Morris, he read the script there, didn't we? We were just saying that we fancied a win, and he popped up at the great moment there. Brilliant strike from Morris, yeah, like you said, second goal of the season. He doesn't do tap-ins, does he?
Nice cushion down ball by Draper to Tierney in the number 10 role. It's Knowles again racing down the right in towards Tierney, and Draper with the shot, and Maxted got a hand on it but couldn't keep it out. And on 16 minutes, it's Freddie Draper, the 19-year-old, who's here with Walsall on loan from Lincoln for the season. He looks a really good prospect. He's big and strong, and he can finish. And when that ball came in from the right, he knew exactly what he was doing, and he makes it 1-1.
Yeah, it was a really good breakaway goal, wasn't it? Knowles showed unbelievable pace down that right-hand side. Really good cross in, yeah, and Draper's not going to miss from there, was he? And yeah, I don't think Maxted could have done too much about it, really. It was a really good finish, wasn't it?
Maxted goes long. Evans jumps, gets the header on into the area. Hits Daniels in the chest. Evans has a shot, and he's killed it into the far corner. Newport County back in front, right at the end of the first half. And it's that man again. Will Evans, 12 goals already, and we're still only in October. And that's 10 in the league so far. And Christmas is miles away.
Yeah, incredible finish. The ball fell to him. What a lovely placed shot into that left-hand corner. Beautiful finish. And yeah, the amount of goals he scored is incredible, and it's unbelievable.
Riley. Threaded through, Draper's onto it in the middle, checks back onto his left foot, rolls it under Maxted, and he's equalised for the second time tonight. Just over 7 minutes into the second half. Superb play at the top end of the pitch from Freddie Draper. And he's now got 7 for the season, having picked up 2 goals tonight. Arms outstretched from manager Graham Coughlan, saying, where was the communication? And County let that lead slip again.
Yeah, really disappointing, but it was a really nice through ball, wasn't it? And yeah, I think soon as Draper got onto it and then started heading towards goal, there's only going to be one outcome, really, wasn't there? Really nice, calm finish by him, and yeah, got Walsall back in the game.
County 2, Walsall 2 of Taylor Allen. Here comes the run down the right-hand side. Into the middle, far post, Morris is there! And he plants the ball into the roof of the net from close range. His second of the game, and Newport go 3-2 up on a goal-filled night here at Rodney Parade. Superb work down the right-hand side. The delivery was low with pace on it, in between the defence and the goalkeeper, and Morris arrived at the back post to lift it over the goalkeeper's head, and County are back in front.
Yeah, another really good delivery, bit different this time along the floor, but brilliant by Morris to be at the back post. We normally see Will Evans in those type of positions, but he was on the... He was putting the ball into the box, so yeah, brilliant for County to get themselves back in front. I think they deserve it over the last kind of 10 minutes. They've been the better side, haven't they?
We're to the last of the added 6 minutes that we'll get as a minimum. I'm sure that won't be the end of it. And Owen Evans, the goalkeeper, up from the back. He's not the biggest of keepers, but it doesn't matter. He's an extra body in the box. It bounces all the way through. Daniels, the captain, the centre-back, smashes it in, and it's gone in! Right at the end. It might have taken a deflection, but Donovan Daniels, the Walsall captain, with what is almost the last kick of the game in the 6th minute of stoppage time, comes up with the 3rd equaliser of the evening for the Saddlers. Incredible. And Newport County unable to hold on once again to the lead. What a sickness, Stephen.
Yeah, really sick. I'm not sure, did Draper get a touch on that? But yeah, really, I mean, it's almost the last kick of the game, and you've thrown away 3 points, and a big 3 points as well, considering where they are on the table. I think Graham Coughlan won't be very happy at full time with this.
That's it. Newport County unable to grab the points after taking the lead 3 times tonight here against Walsall. Both these defences came into the game having shipped a shed full of goals, and it went to form with 6 goals shared tonight. Newport have scored 17 here in 8 League 2 matches, and Walsall have the second worst defence away from home in the entire division, behind only bottom of the table Sutton. We had a thriller, but unfortunately County couldn't take the points, and they'll have to make do with one. The Rodney Parade, it ends. Newport County 3, Walsall 3.
Thanks, Stephen and Chris. Nothing wrong with him. Absolutely nothing wrong with him at all. Sounds as brilliant as always.
He does, doesn't he?
Can't imagine how we pulled that off, but thank you very much, guys. Let's hear from the Newport Katie manager, Graham Coughlan.
Yeah, really annoyed, really frustrated, really annoyed, really disappointed. To score 3 goals at home, you would fully expect to win the game, but to concede the 3 goals in the manner in which we did, as a centre half, I'm really unhappy to see. I'm really fuming, really, to be fair. You can't concede goals like the way we're conceding. And you trust people, you give them jerseys, you give them opportunities, you give them chances in the team, and they go out and give you those type of errors, and that's not good enough at this level.
It seemed that Newport had to score blinders, and theirs were too easy, if you're honest.
Yeah, they're individual mistakes again, but I think we can look back on every goal we conceded this season, and they're down to individual errors. Now, whether that's we're getting ourselves uptight, whether we're getting ourselves nervous, whether we're feeling a little bit of pressure, yes, they're young lads, but that's still no excuse. There's still no excuse for conceding the goals that we're conceding, and that's been an issue. That's been a problem. Yes, getting a centre half pairing has been an issue for me. It's been a problem. We can't seem to get any type of continuity in there. At centre half, but look, we're free flowing, we're free scoring, we're really good offensively. We score in out with last weekend against Swindon. We score in every game, but we certainly got to do better defensively. All over our defensive our defensive frailties are really irritating me at this moment in time.
There's not much you can do, though, is there? Because you trust the players and you pick the formations, but individuals cost you. You can't go out there and play for them, can you?
Well, no, I can't, to be honest. But we can't start wallowing in this. We've got to roll our sleeves up and dig ourselves, dig in. Like I say, I keep saying circle the wagons and things like that. But I expect better. I do. I honestly expect better from players. Just basic, simple errors, and you can dissect the goals all day you want. It's not one error. It's not 2 errors. It's a catalogue of errors that is hurting us. So look, you don't score 3 goals at home and not win the game. You don't, and you see that passage of play. Irrespective, I didn't think we were great tonight. But you see that passage of play out the corner. They get a corner, last kick of the game, you just see it out. You just go and head the ball, clear your box, squeeze the line, stop the ball coming in. But we couldn't do any of that. So it's I don't know whether it's a little bit of pressure that the feeling, whether it's a lack of I wouldn't have thought fitness, but there's a number of things that is not quite right. And look, like I say, I'm sick and tired of going after players. There's another player that scored a hat-trick against me tonight that we tried to get in the summer. Luke Young last week as well. We spoke to these people. We spoke to Freddie. He's obviously had a good spell across in the League of Ireland, and he comes out, and it's really heartbreaking, to be fair, when you're going after these players and they opt to go elsewhere, and they come back and they haunt you. It's tough going at the minute. But we'll reassess in the morning.
How do you lift them ready for Notts County now?
Well, I want them to lift me. The support again tonight was tremendous. With the supporters, myself, we get behind this group of players. The club gets behind them. The club backs them, and they and in fairness to them, they are a great group. And I'll have no one other than myself have a go at them. I'm probably the only one entitled to have a nibble at them, have a go at them. But we get behind them, we lift them, and we try to get them to go again. But you're in the lap of the gods. You're in the hands of the players. I'm sure they will, because they're good, honest lads. They don't deliberately make errors. They don't deliberately make mistakes. I just have to try and alleviate maybe one or two the pressure moments that's coming on top of them, that one or two of them struggle in, and the decision making. But again, that's down to your players. It's really, really difficult as a fellow centre half, or as a centre half for my career, to see the goals that we're shipping. To be quite honest, it's really difficult and frustrating.
Newport County manager Graham Coughlan. It's all about Graham today, isn't it, guys?
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
So we'll get talking about this game, and then we're going to really focus on 1 year of Graham Coughlan. Just got to mention as well, show racing the red card with the charity of the day in the marquee. I think it was Nathan. We'll double check, but I think it was Nathan came to have a little chat with us.
I wasn't there. You two
really,
were there, not me.
Really good. Obviously. Seems like a
Dean.
There you go, Dean. A very professional organisation, a bit like me, unlike me today. And yeah, just great. So good to get the roll down that one. What I didn't know about Show Racism, the red card, is that all the money they raise in Wales stays in Wales. So I know that could be a thing for some people. I kind of thought that was interesting. There we go. Right, let's get into business then. Stephen, what happened?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing that was really interesting about the game was the way that Graham Coughlan set his side up. I think he caught everybody by surprise. Kind of set up. He's kind of set up with like a fluid sort of 4-3-3 system, which I thought was quite interesting. Like the strikers were rotating. Bogle would go out wide on times, and Baker was rotating with like Bennett and things like that. I just thought it was really interesting. What they did, but yeah, I thought it was a really frantic start to the game. I think first 16 minutes, both sides were on the front foot. Newport got themselves in front with a brilliant goal by Bryn Morris, who couldn't have timed his goal any better. Straight after I said that we wanted to win in the commentary, he went and scored a 20-yarder, so that was cool. And then, Walsall, they were looking really dangerous on the counter-attack. They got really good threats out wide with Knowles and Hutchinson, and a striker up front in Draper who was a banging form. 5 goals I think he had before Friday. He's got 8 now, obviously. And I think the first half then kind of settled down a little bit. And then Newport County the basic tactic was get the ball out wide to Bogle. I think because their defenders were quite big, so I think they put Bogle in the wider position up against the full-back to win the headers. And Walsall were kind of... I think they noticed that County are vulnerable on the back post. We conceded a lot of goals on the back post in recent games, and they were kind of targeting that area, so that was something I noticed. County then, really good goal by Will Evans to give them the lead at half-time. Probably didn't deserve to be in front at half-time, but they definitely earned it. So, I thought second half then, Newport were looking good, and Walsall got the early equaliser, which was a bit disappointing in the second half. Newport then were looking to get balls into the box, but they were lacking that bit of quality, I'd say. But when they did kind of play it along the floor, that's where the third goal came from, with Morris at the back post from an Evans cross. Then Graham Coughlan changed it. He went to like a 5-3-2. You can understand him wanting to protect the lead and get the win because they hadn't won in so long. And it was just a strange feeling, to be honest. We should be sitting here saying, wow, we saw a 6-goal thriller, it was amazing. But the way that they kind of lost it right at the death was it's just a bit disappointing, really. So
because I think when Walsall scored the equaliser, when Freddie Draper got his hat-trick, it was pretty much the last kick of the game. You could just hear and you could just feel the energy sap out of Rodney Parade. He scored and there was silence, just silence. You could see obviously the Walsall players running over to their fans, and even the coaches were dancing and celebrating. But Rodney Parade, when that goal went in, it was just a silence. Newport County, don't get me wrong, if you concede 3 goals at home, you shouldn't win games of football. Or you don't win games of football, which Graham said. But they managed the clock really, really well in added time. 6 minutes of added time. We know this season about the longer amounts of periods of time added on at the end of games or things like that. But they managed to run the clock down quite well.
Well, they didn't do that well because they conceded in the last minute.
Well, until that goal went in, they did well to run the clock down.
Well, because for about the last 15 minutes, it was basically attack versus defence, I suppose, which was inevitable. And like you said, I think to Walsall, it probably felt like a win. And to Newport County, it kind of felt like a defeat. Conceding that late on. I think, there was 2 takeaways from me for that game. My first one was Maxted in goals. There's a lot of debate around Maxted and Townsend, but to me, I got to be honest, Maxted did not look comfortable in goals. Every time shots were coming at him, he was panicking, he was flapping, you could argue he was beaten too easily for the first one, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt for that one.
So why do you think that we're playing Maxted and not Townsend? Because it can be social media pressure, because all managers say they don't watch what's going on social media, but I bet you they do.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I just think what we need to do is stick with the number one, and for me that's Townsend. Out of the two of them, it's, you know, he's talking about the changes in the defence, but he's changing the goalkeeper as well. That's not going to help if you want, and that could be one of the reasons why the defence record is so poor. The changes in all parts of the defence, the right backs, the centre backs, the goalkeepers. Whenever we do get a settled back to two centre backs, one of them gets injured or banned, or he's had been a bit unlucky there. Yeah, so I just think we really need to kind of just decide which one you're going to go with and just stick with it.
Because it's really interesting, isn't it, that the changes in the defensive unit are not totally in Graham Coughlan's control because of injuries.
Yeah.
Not a problem with the goalie.
No, exactly.
And again, it's felt in previous seasons there's a fine line between Joe Day and Nick Townsend, and it doesn't seem to be that case this season. So I know we're going to talk a year of Graham Coughlan a little bit later. You know, has our goalkeeping situation, is it weaker now than it was last year before Graham arrived?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So it's just.
And I think that is one of the reasons, apart from the individual errors and maybe the lack of concentration, it's the constant changes as well. So at least, and to me, if I'm a defender and I've got a goalkeeper who every time a shot goes at him, he's looking nervous, that's going to make me nervous. So I think that's just going to have an effect on the players in front of him as well. You want a confident goalkeeper, not a nervous one.
You mentioned just about 3 or 4 minutes ago that you think Walsall targeted the back post.
Yeah.
And you've mentioned that seems to be a thing. How do we fix that problem?
Well, you put players there, because there was a couple of times, especially in the first half, maybe not so much the second half, but the first half definitely, where they had players free at the back post, and if they'd had better connections with either of those corners or crosses, they would have scored. So yeah, they kind of got away with one there, and we've seen it in the last couple of home games. You know, goals scored at the back post. So for me, if I'm setting my team up, I'd be saying, right, you get somebody, stand on the back post, and you don't move. You stay there, regardless of what happens in front of you. You stay there, so then you don't get caught out. Then, do you?
I got a feeling we'll be talking about the defensive unit a lot this season, and I'm sure we'll come back onto it on the next episode of Look Back Now. But let's go to attack, which is glittering and brilliant and fantastic. Going to pick up two points on the attack system. So, Stephen, I'll come back to you in a second. I know that you mentioned that slightly different and varied play at the front, which sounds quite exciting, and we'll find out whether it's it seems to be working. We're getting goals. Luke, let me talk to you about the phenomenon that is Will Evans.
Yeah, Will Evans, obviously, last season, I don't know whether the word ineffective in front of goal is something you want to put with Will Evans, but this season, he's a completely different player. Top scorer in League 2. Friday night, he became the first player in the FL to pass 10 goals for the season, which at the start of the season, if you were to tell me that stat, I'd have laughed your head off.
Coming? No.
Yeah, I would not see that coming.
I always felt that he was running around with not much end product. Now he's running around a lot with a fair bit of end product. If we're going to look at success during Coughlan's era, I think Evans is your man, really. So we're talking Will Evans, and Stephen, you probably want to say something. So you go on Will Evans first, and let me ask you another question in a minute.
So go on, ask your questions.
Why is Bogle still not getting the love? Because surely I think I asked on the last episode, why isn't Will Evans our main key striker? He seems to be playing out wider than, maybe it works that way. Again, talk to me, but rightly so, Will Evans is getting it. I know Bogle might not be getting as many goals, but surely he's assisting the situation in some way.
Yeah, I think he did really well on Friday night with his kind of his hold up play and his bringing others into the game. So whilst he's got 4 goals this season, so he's not done too badly. He was out for a little while as well, wasn't he? But it's really strange. And I think with Will Evans, there's a lot more purpose to his play this year. I think he's probably in more central positions more often than what he was last year. He spent a lot of time out wide. So I think that's probably the difference as well. Coughlan deserves a lot of credit for this, as well as Will Evans himself, obviously. But yeah, what I liked about was like Bogle would go out wide, and then sometimes he'd go in the middle where Will Evans would go out wide. And I suppose, and then you had Will Dig up there as well, who was like floating around. It was a really nice fluid formation, which was quite exciting. Like you said, it's exciting to see them play that way.
Yeah,
I think I said to you, Stephen. I think it was half time. The first 20-25 minutes of the game on Friday reminded me of some of the stuff we've seen at the start of the season. And for me, the one thing that helped that is lack of long balls forward in towards Omar Bogle. And I noticed we were playing the ball on the ground, on the floor, a lot more than we have been in recent games.
It's on my list because I did see on social media that people were saying that they were a couple of long balls, and I saw the second half, and I thought, no, they're actually playing it on the floor, and they're playing some nice football.
Yeah, I think
not at the back.
No, I think they were kind of mixing it up a bit. Yeah, on times they would go high and wide out to Bogle to get the header, but
there's then when they did, what I'm thinking is the long ball shouldn't be ruled out completely. It should be an element of the game, not just the whole process, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, it depends what the opposition are doing to you. If you want to try and play it around and they're kind of closing you down, then you play it over the top of them to kind of beat the press. So yeah, I think you've got to mix it up a bit, and I think that's what they did really well. They kind of mixed up the play a bit when they played, because before they scored the third goal they were getting a lot of crosses into the box, but it didn't seem to pay off. But then when they played it along the floor, they got a bit of success and scored. We've said it a couple of times, haven't we? They seem to get success when they play it on the floor more than they do playing it. Obviously, if you're playing into two big centre backs and you're playing into them. Yeah, I was just really excited. And like I said, Will Evans, he's a phenomenon. He's I did tip him a year ago to be the one to watch. I was a year early.
You're ahead.
Yes, that's what it was.
Mystic Stephen.
I'm like a Jedi. I see things before they happen.
It's the only Jedi reference you're getting away with on this show, Sunshine. There you go. Before we go to the man of the match, just want to quickly highlight something that Graham Coughlan said in there. I meant to talk to you about it before we did the show. He dropped in a couple of lines about a couple of players that he tried to recruit over the summer.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
That was. Yeah, we know throughout this summer, the two players he mentioned there, Freddie Draper, he's got a hat-trick, and Luke Young, I think. Luke Young?
Yeah, it's Luke Young.
Yeah, we've known all over the summer he was after another striker, and it's interesting to see some of the players that he was after, Freddie Draper's got 8 goals now this season after Friday night. Luke Young is the second top scorer in League 2. Joint second with a couple of other players. Place of Swindon. Jake Young, not Luke Young. At Swindon, he's got 9 goals. Freddie Draper's got 8. So yeah, we can see that the type of strikers that Coughlan was after...
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Have gone on to do well.
That will dovetail into the discussion that we're going to have next.
I was really impressed with Draper. I thought he was a really, really good player. I tell you what he reminds me of is Evan Ferguson, who plays for Brighton.
Okay.
Who was a young striker and similar sort of build, both Irish, but with an eye for goal. And I was really impressed with him. I thought he was very dangerous.
Yeah, makes you wonder what would happen if we had oodles of cash on the last transfer window,
this time next year we'll be millionaires.
Yep, hopefully. Who knows? Okay, let's go to the absolutely Katie man of the match, Luke.
Yeah, so on Friday your options were Will Evans, who got the goal and assisted one of Bryn Morris's. Bryn Morris himself, who got 2 goals. Aaron Wildig, who I thought a solid game, back from concussion. And other, which you can let me know, and Chris Silverthorne did, our good friend on the pod, Chris Silverthorne. Lewis Payne got sponsors man of the match on Friday night. Stephen, who was your man of the match against Walsall?
Well, Bryn Morris, without doubt, 2 goals, yeah.
Because that's really interesting, because I think you two queried about Payne being man of the match.
Yeah.
But Mr. Silverthorne, who we deeply, utterly and totally respect, has also thrown that at it. Or was he being cheeky? I don't know. You never know with Chris.
We
don't know Chris well enough to know whether that's
tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, we don't know.
70% of the people agree with you, Stephen. You are a man of the people once again.
Yep.
Bryn Morris is your man of the match.
Well, I just think he deserved it for 2 goals. I mean, we said in the commentary, what has he got to do to get the man of the match?
Well, there you go. He has now.
Maybe he needs to score 3. That's what he needs to do.
We put he's supposed to score a couple, but then defend a couple. That would make it a complete. That would sort that problem out. There you go, Bryn. So you're our man of the match, and we're giving you advice on how to do better next time round. Oh, Stephen, What's next?
Yeah, so 1 year on, I want to take us 1 year back to where we were pre-Coughlan and how we changed during last season.
Right here, right now.
Newport City Radio.
On Friday, the 20th of October, manager Graham Coughlan marked 1 year in the job at Newport County. So I thought we'd have a little look at where we were when Graham took over and kind of how the season developed. So when he took over, Newport were 19th in League 2. They were 2 points above the relegation places. Newport had played 14, won 3, drew 2, lost 9. They were 21st in the form table from the last 10 matches. 22nd in the home form table and 21st in the away form table. So when he came in, it wasn't a happy ship, let's just say. And if we all look back, remember, like the home form was dreadful, the atmosphere was toxic. So when he came in, he made a great start, actually. Only 1 defeat in his first 6 matches and only 2 defeats in his first 11 matches. He won 3, drew 6, lost 2. In his next 10 matches, he won 3, drew 4, lost 3. And in his last 12 matches of 22-23, he won 5, drew 4, lost 3. At home, before he took charge, Newport had 1 win in 7, which is quite similar to where we are right now. 1, drew 1 and lost 5. And after he took over, they won 5, drew 6 and lost 5. Away from home, before he took charge, Newport had 1, 2, drawn 1, lost 4. And after he took charge, he only had 1 defeat in his first 9 away. He won 3, drew 5, lost 1. And overall, he won 6, drew 7, lost 3. So at the end of the 22-23 season, Newport finished 15th in League 2. They were 22nd in the home form table, 8th in the away form table, 11th in the goals scored table, 18th in the goals at home table, 10th in the away goals table. They were the 9th worst defence, 7th worst defence at home, and the 17th worst defence away. So that's where we were. Luke, do you want to talk to us where we are now?
I think
Or what do you think of what Coughlan did when he came in for that season?
Should we? Yeah, we'll stick around that season.
Last season, I think one of the things that stood out for me is he said it was his job to turn defeats into draws and draws into wins. And I think that's definitely what he did when he took over, you know. You just read off a load of stats there. And when he came in, one thing I noticed is back to basics. And we looked a completely different team. Yes, same personnel, but he got us organised, which is something that probably was lacking a little bit under previous management. And January, what I thought was really, really key and important is he got rid of what you might consider deadwood. Got a few of those out the door, players that he didn't really want. He got rid of five or six in January. He didn't replace them with 5 or 6, so he replaced them with 2 or 3 really, really quality players. You know, Harry Charsley's still with us, and when he comes back from injury, he's going to be pretty much one of the first names on the team sheet. He's a really, really important player in that midfield. Charlie McNeil, Graham Coughlan up top. Although they didn't score as much as we'd hope, I think even if they added competition, they added places in the team. Matty Baker, who we've seen as well. So yeah, I think he's mentioned it as well. Getting to January, and I think it's going to be the same this season. Get to January and rebuild. Yes, okay, we did start off the season well, as you've rightly alluded to, but I think when he came in, you could immediately see confidence come back into the team, whether it be with the way we were playing, whether it be with probably settled formation, because he's talked about his reward system, and the jersey is yours until you lose it, which I think really helped last season when he took over immediately. Players knew where they were, players knew their positions, players knew, okay, you've got to go out there and perform, otherwise you're not playing.
Yeah. It's really interesting because I think what you've got with Graham Coughlan is that experience. Been there, seen it, done it. He's brought Joe along with him as well. Yeah. And then they've got Chris in backroom support as well. That we bumped into on Thursday, but I didn't know who he was to say hello to. So,
me neither.
So there you go. We'll put that right when we see Chris next. But yeah, I think we all wanted Rowbury to do well. We all wanted, there was the science, a theory, a social media attitude of one club, one county. That's gone. That's out the window. What you got with Graham Coughlan is someone who knows his onions, been there, seen it, done it, and identified the problems. Any manager would. You're going to go into that situation and think from the outside it looks like this is going on. A perceived lack of fitness, a lack of mental toughness, and that rhythm. And yeah, I suppose when you turn around to the players and saying, it's your jersey to lose, that puts the pressure back on them, doesn't it? It just says, right, no, this is... And any new manager is going to do that, isn't it? They're going to turn around and say, right, here's your opportunity. You either take it or you don't. And that's what kind of happened. And yeah, there was that nice little bounce. And bearing in mind, it's hard for me to pinpoint the point where we knew that the infrastructure of the club was not as good as it should be. I don't think even he knew at that point.
Yeah.
Did it start under James Rowberry? And did James get an unfair crack of the whip? We'll never know. But this is where Graham is. And I think if we just look at last season, if we assume that the club was not functioning in the best possible way at that point, it heightens even the job that he did towards the end of last season, didn't it?
I think he worked miracles at the end of last season. He's spoken about last year being, or the past 12 months being, one of the toughest he's been in, and I think he has said after he's finished football, he's thinking of becoming a firefighter of the amount of fires he's put out over the past year. So I think that tells you kind of everything you need to know about what he's done, what he's gone through in the previous 12 months.
And he does deserve credit for that as well. Coming to that situation, he's joined the club a year ago, assuming and being told it was one thing, and sadly it wasn't.
Yeah, I think he did, didn't he? I think he came in and he kind of slowly discovered that, like you said, things started to become more clearer. And like I was talking to you guys off air, and I said one of all the things he could prepare for on the pitch, he couldn't prepare for what was happening off the pitch. And there was so much happened after the start of the year. I mean, yeah, you had like Darren Kelly left, Gavin unfortunately left. Then it kind of slowly became clearer about the financial situation. And I got to be honest, I think he was the right man for the job to guide us through all that, because, like you said, Lamsie, he's got the experience. And I think, the job he did, and I mean, he does deserve so much credit. I mean, a lot of people might have walked and said, no, this ain't for me. But he's sticking in there and he's sticking with it. And hopefully when Hugh Jenkins comes in and things start to turn around, then he deserves to have that crack at it, doesn't he, when things are looking a lot better.
I think, I know we're going to talk about this season in a couple of seconds' time, but I think he's the right manager at the right club at the right time, I hope.
Yeah, and I think another thing that I like what he did, he kind of got the club from the very first press conference. He said he was talking about turning Rodney Parade into a fortress and things, and like I just thought we love his press conferences. He's so good in press conferences, and he says all the right things, and it's measured, and I just think what he's done as well. He's, like Luke was saying about the players he brought in, the young players as well. Keeban Wright coming through, like McNeil and Kavanagh, Baker, all these players, Payne. He's brought in these young players and he's making them better. Will Evans, look how good Will Evans has been. So yeah, I just think he deserves a lot of credit. So Luke, what's coming up next?
What is coming up next? That's a good question. 1 year on, I want to look at where we are this season under the great man himself.
New football season, new kit, new school year, new uniform. Newport Credit Union will help you through it. To find out more and to see how to join them, search online for Newport Credit Union.
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now.
Newport City Radio.
We're going to talk about where we are this season. It's been a mixed start to the season for Newport County. We've played 14, we've won 4, drawn 3, lost 7. We're currently sitting on 15 points in the Sky Bet League 2 table as we sit here on Sunday. 5 points outside the relegation places. At home, we've played 8, won 3, drawn 3, lost 2. That's 12 points. Away form, we played 6, won 1 and lost 5. After something interesting I noted, after the AFC Wimbledon game, we were up in the dizzying heights of 6th place. That's just after we took on Brentford in the League Cup, and I think at that time there was a real good feel factor around the place. Yes, we lost on penalties, but that was a really, really good game. We're currently 6th for goals scored with 24 goals in our 14 games. But this is the most concerning thing for me. We're 23rd, we're second bottom for goals against with 29. Only Sutton, who are bottom of the table, have a worse defensive record than us.
And Colchester as well.
Colchester conceded 27.
How many?
We've conceded 29.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Have I outstatted Steve now?
Oh, it sounds that way. Oh, burnt on live radio.
Yeah.
That might not make the podcast.
No.
It's definitely going to make the
So,
podcast.
Stephen, obviously I've just read out those stats. How too dissimilar are we from this point last year where he took over, where, as you just rightly said, we were 2 or 3 points outside the relegation places this season with 5. You know, away from home, we've only won the one, and that was a 3-0 win against Forest Green. We've conceded a lot of goals this season.
Yeah, well, I think the two main differences for me is last year, at this point last year, our home form was dreadful. The away form wasn't too bad. We'd picked up a couple of results away from home.
Roles reverse, I think, is the...
Well, to be honest, I think it's our home form and our away form at the moment isn't great. It's not great at all. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing for me. I think we're shipping goals far too easy.
What do you put that down to?
I don't know. I think, like you just said, like we started the season, and when we had all our players fit, and our, if we could, we were doing quite well. We took on Brentford. We kind of took them to penalties, and we
drew 1-1 in normal time.
Drew 1-1, and I think until we started to get the injuries, I think that's when the wheels have come off lately. I think we're on like the worst run since February, March, where we kind of only won 1 in 8. We're on a similar sort of run now, so I'm kind of hoping that changes. I think it is difficult because he has had to make a lot of changes. I mean, especially at the back, and like I've just spoke about, I don't think that's helped. So I think if we had a settled side, we'd probably be in a lot better position. But I mean, look at us goal scorers. We're up there, We're up there, the top scorers in the league. We've got the top scorer in the league, so we've got that going for us. It's just that other end, isn't it? And it must be so frustrating for Graham Coughlan at the moment. But I still think he's the right man for the job. I think going forward, January, hopefully have a little bit of money, not a lot probably, but a little bit to kind of go and get some of the players. It's difficult in January anyway. It's a difficult transfer window to negotiate, but hopefully, that'll make a difference.
But we've seen last season, in the amount of time from when he took over to the end of the season, we were up in 9th. Mm-hmm. So, make of that what you will. Lamsie, come to you quickly. Obviously, everyone is going to have injuries. Everyone is going to go through a blip of form. Are you relieved almost that it's come at the start of the season? Or I know there's never a good time to get it, but would you rather it be the start of the season rather than the middle or the end of the season?
No, because there's nothing you can do about it. These things happen. Well, maybe there is. I'll talk about that in a second. But no, because you can't guarantee that the second half of the season is going to be any better or any stronger. So I'd rather us be going into the Christmas period in a position of strength, getting through that notorious Christmas present period.
It's not Christmas present.
Not yet. Over that period of time where Newport County and the Flinney used to drop a little bit and dip around that FA Cup time. Yeah. So, I would prefer not to be the case in answer to your question, but that's out of our control. Where I think we are is that there's an irony, isn't there? This is a guy that's a central midfielder that's really struggling with defence. So, or defender at least. Yeah, Coughlan defender. Centre back, sorry. Not midfield. Where did they get midfielder from? Centre back, and he's struggling with kind of defence. Where we all thought that he was going to sort out the defence and then work on the attack. His attack is flying.
Yeah, but that's one of the things, isn't it? What do you do? You can have a free scoring team, but then you're likely to be exposed at the back. So what do you want? Do you want a more pragmatic team who doesn't score as many goals but might get results? So that's the kind of decision you got to make, what you want, really, isn't it?
Yeah, so there's that element. I suppose as well that he's fortunate that there's a lot of goodwill towards him because he's built that goodwill, absolutely right, because he's spoken openly about the off-the-field problems and issues. Then that's probably, if he hadn't done that, I think people might be questioning his role. Yeah. Because of where we literally are. But because we know that there's a backstory to this, there's a lot of goodwill there, isn't there? So that's going to stand in good stead. And again, I don't know, but I would have thought that when Mr. Jenkins takes over ownership of the club, if that does go through, I'm sure the first thing on Graham's shopping list would be some sort of physio unit or some sort of medical support element to it.
There is a physio there. We've seen them yesterday. Or Friday.
Absolutely. I would thought there's physios there, but I think something's not right there.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's happening. I don't know whether the physios...
Maybe they haven't got a full-time one. Maybe they're only employed on match days or something like that.
Yeah, so it seems that something needs... Some sort of sports science needs to take place where we're understanding why we're so injury-prone. Because... Yeah, is it? Have we got more injured players than any other team in League Two? I don't know, but if we have, there's something going wrong within our club.
Yeah. I think I just think we've had bad luck, to be honest. I think it's what it's probably boiling down to. So yeah.
Cheers for that one, guys. Lamsie, what's coming up next?
Okay, should we talk about a lot of games happening next?
I think we should. New football season means new kit. New school year means new uniform. Newport Credit Union will help you through it. So find out more and see how to join them. Search online for Newport Credit Union.
Right here, right now. This is Newport City Radio.
Well, we got a lot to rattle through now, haven't we? So it's going to get very confusing very quickly. So let's do it one at a time. First of all, Newport County travel away to Notts County on Tuesday, the 24th of October. So let's get score predictions. Again, just go one word if you can, guys.
Yep.
Luke?
Yep.
It's going to be tough. Notts County, second in the league.
One word.
2-1 Newport.
Okay.
Just scrape through.
1-1 draw.
Lovely, that's what we needed. Away to Gillingham on Saturday the 28th, Luke.
Just again, easier for Newport County. 3-2.
Okay, I like that one. Stephen?
1-0 win.
Okay, brilliant stuff. Okay, then we're home in the EFL Trophy on Tuesday the 31st of October. Lots of Halloween references going into that one, isn't it? West Ham under-21s, the visitors. Luke?
Yeah, I hope it's a treat, not a trick for Newport County that evening. I think we could see maybe one or two of the current injured players maybe get a few minutes, like we see Matty Baker the other week. 6-4, we have some epics in that competition.
Yeah,
6-4.
well, yeah, it was 5-4 the last time we played them, so I'm going to go 4-3 Newport.
Luke just got punished.
Yeah.
See what I did there. And then FA Cup, Saturday the 4th of November, Oldham are the visitors. This is now going to be the one that we're going to be back on the next day, but it's going to be just you two, because I've got that one off, haven't I? So you're going to pick this one up on the next day. But let's talk about that game. Oldham, Luke.
Yeah, it's around the time that a certain someone turns 50, but we won't mention that.
What do you mean? I'm 48.
Thanks for taking one for the team there, mate.
1-0 Newport. We'll scrape through.
2-0.
Okay, brilliant, guys. Thank you for taking time out to this day. As always, we'd love to read your thoughts about our thoughts on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram via a direct message. We're also on email, contact@newportcityradio.org. They will catch you on Sunday the 5th of November at 2 p.m. as we continue to look back in amber at the 2023-24 season. More talking points, more banter, more top-class analysis and more footballing puns.
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now. Newport City Radio.